Hi there guys, Tom Quayle here. Hope you're all doing very well indeed as ever. Today I'm checking out another product by the guys at Tascam. I'm a big fan of this brand. In fact, I use their Series 208i audio interface for all my mobile video shoots anytime I'm recording demos elsewhere other than in this studio. That's my mobile interface of choice. And last year, or actually just over a year ago, I did check out their Portacapture X8 flagship audio recording device and was really impressed with it. It was a fantastic device with a bunch of inputs, really great sounding condenser mics built in, and a really nice touchscreen with an app-like feature set. So you had apps for recording different types of audio scenarios. And it was really well received by the community. I think for YouTubers and musicians and anybody doing content creation or any creative pursuits, it's a really, really great device with a lot of power on board. Now, it made sense that as the flagship device that the X8 is, that Tascam would take that feature set that was really, really powerful and distill it into a more affordable, smaller unit. And that is why today I am checking out this. This is the X6, or the Portacapture X6 from the guys at Tascam. This is a smaller brethren to the X8, and it takes a lot of the functionality and power of that device, and as I say, distills it down into a more affordable, smaller version of the X8. So in this video, I'm going to check it out. Now, I should say, for reasons of ethics, of course, that Tascam did send me the X6 to do a video with, and this is a paid demo video. So don't think of this so much as a review, but this is a demo of the feature set of the X6. However, I will state that I only feature products on my YouTube channel from companies that I like, with products that I use in my own workflow and would be useful for you guys to use in your workflow as content creators and musicians. Now, visually, the most commanding feature of the X8 was the giant touchscreen on the front, plus the physical controls underneath. And in this case, the X6 maintains the touchscreen, but in this case reduces it down to a 2.4-inch color screen with the same style of interface that you found on the X8, giving you access to all the different apps, such as podcast recording, ASMR, recording various different types of instruments and field recording, for example, with all of the features that you would need for those particular recording applications at your fingertips and easy kind of navigation of setting different recording parameters from those different apps. We also maintain the physical controls underneath, which is really nice to see. So we've got easy, quick access to recording, playing, stopping, so on and so forth. All the features that you would need for basic recording, plus the ability to add markers, that kind of thing, and the excellent jog wheel, which allows us a very physical, tactile way to quickly set things like the gain of the preamps, reverb level, so on and so forth. Now, just like the X8, we still have the ability to record using 32-bit floating point functionality. The reason this is important is because a lot of the time when we're doing takes, especially if we're doing mobile sessions, we get rushed, we're setting everything up and we might forget to set the gain on our preamps correctly. There's 4 different inputs on here plus the external input. It's very easy to misset the gain levels for the preamps. With 32-bit float recording technology, that actually doesn't really matter anymore. If your levels are set too low, 32-bit floating point recording gives us such insane levels of dynamic range that we can boost the level up in post, say in a DAW or on the device itself, and we'll still maintain the same signal-to-noise ratio and dynamic range that we would get if the gain was set high. The X6 allows you to record either at 44.1, 48, or 96 kilohertz. So we do lose the ability to go up to 192 kilohertz like the X8 did, but in real world scenarios, being able to record up to 96 kilohertz is more than good enough for the vast majority of applications. And if you're using this for video, you're most likely going to be recording at 48 kilohertz anyway. And that's what I've been doing with the unit, and it sounds fantastic at any of those sample rates. As far as inputs and outputs go, we've obviously got the fantastic sounding condenser mics built into the top of the unit here. And just like on the X8, these can be rotated into an XY or AB configuration. In the AB configuration, you get a wider stereo field, which is fantastically useful for recording larger soundscapes, such as a group of people, or for doing Foley work where you want the stereo field, say a car passing by, for example. And then the XY configuration is really useful for recording closer materials, such as a single speaker if you're doing an interview or recording yourself, or for recording a smaller stereo field with single performer instruments, such as wind instruments, for example. And of course, you could use the AB configuration, in my case as a guitar player, for recording a wider acoustic guitar stereo field. As you'd expect, the onboard mics sound really, really nice, very similar to the X8 onboard mics. They cannot be removed and switched out for other units, but they sound good enough that you would never need to do that anyway, and they offer you the ability to get really, really great recordings without having to bring any external microphones, without compromising too much on recording quality. Tascam have provided a pair of XLR inputs on the X6, as you can see just here. Now, it is worth noting that these are not the same Neutrik combi jacks that you would find on the X8. These are basic XLR inputs. That means if you do want to plug line level signals into the X6, you're going to have to use jack to XLR cables or DI boxes to do that in order that you can plug the XLR cable straight into the unit. Now, that will be up to you as to whether that's a deal breaker and you would want to upgrade up to the X8 in order to be able to use those combi jacks. But for most people, including myself, I would primarily be plugging microphones into this for field recording. Where it may become a problem is if I want to use this as an audio interface, a feature we'll get into later, where I might want to plug guitars, for example, into this. But again, it is entirely possible, but you probably need to use DI boxes or conversion cables in order to be able to do that. One of the excellent features that's been brought across from the X8 is the ability to individually switch on or off the phantom power for each of the individual XLR inputs. This means that you've got plus 24 or plus 48 volt phantom power individually per channel, which is great if, for example, you want to run a ribbon mic or a dynamic mic into one channel and then a condenser mic that requires phantom power into the other. That way you can power both of those mics or not as you need and make sure that you're not damaging the microphones that don't require phantom power and you're getting the optimal signal from the ones that do. Tascam have also included a small external input on here as well, which will work with plug-in powered lapel mics, for example, or wireless mics, or will work with a stereo external input from a line level signal if you want to do that, which can also be recorded separately. As well as that, we've got a line level output here, which can also be attenuated and run as a camera output. If, for example, like me, you record with your cameras and the audio will be recorded into the camera, or in my case, I use an Atomos Ninja 5 for each of my cameras to record my video. Then you could plug the external output from this device into the Atomos Ninja 5s and record all the audio pre-synchronized onto your recording device or into your camera on the SD card and have the quality of the Tascam X6, either the internal mics or external mics, directly into your audio recording, which is great. And having that camera attenuation level drop means that you're not pushing the preamps on your camera too hard, which can result in clipping and a horrible sounding signal. It's very easily done. I've done it many times, so that feature is something I would definitely appreciate as a user. Finally, we have a headphone output on there as well, along with the volume control that allows you to monitor your signals while you're recording, and of course also listen back to any recordings that you've made in post. On the other side of the X6, you'll find the obligatory MicroSD card input on there. This allows you to go all the way up to a 512GB card for the ultimate in storage capacity, meaning basically you'll never run out of storage space as far as recordings go. Then we've got the USB-C connector on there, which has multiple functions, including USB bus power, meaning you can power the device without the 4 AA batteries that are included with the device. That, of course, will mean that you've got limited power capabilities. This means that for longer shoots running over multiple hours, you don't need to worry about batteries running out because you have a permanent fixed power solution. The USB-C connection also allows the device to run as an SD card reader, so you don't have to remove the, let's face it, very easy to lose microSD card from the unit. You can just read it straight from the X6. As a fantastic bonus feature for anybody who wants to work with audio on a computer, the X6 USB-C port also allows it to work as a fully fledged audio interface. All you need to do is plug it directly into a Mac or a PC or a mobile device, so Android and iOS is supported as well, and it will work without any drivers having to be installed as it's fully class compliant. Although, brilliantly, Tascam do also provide an ASIO driver for low latency operation in Windows using any DAW, and having tested it, it allows you to set the buffer size all the way down to 64, which means that this is actually a viable option for running low latency virtual instruments or effects and monitoring real time. The full capabilities of the unit are still available to you in the audio interface mode, so you're not compromising on that 96 kHz 32-bit floating point operation, which means that you maintain all of that insane dynamic range and the ability to get really great recordings even if you've set your gain levels at the wrong point. Now, the X6 doesn't have the same hot shoe mount that you found on the X8, but we do still have access to a standard tripod screw mount on here, which means that you can obviously mount it, as I say, on a tripod, or using some kind of monitor style mounting system, you can stick it into the hot shoe of a camera for recording audio on location, or a fixed kind of recording point for doing vocals, or anything that you want to go directly into your camera. It's also worth mentioning the X6 has some really nice high quality inbuilt effects in there. We've got a 4-band EQ with parametric mids, we've got compression, limiting, a noise gate, auto gain, and we've also got access to, as I mentioned earlier, a really nice sounding reverb with multiple different presets for various different scenarios. These effects can be applied to both the internal mics and the external inputs as you desire and switched on and off very easily just using the touchscreen interface. As far as the actual recording process goes, the X6 has the really nice ability to record in multiple formats at once. So as well as uncompressed WAV files, you can also record MP3 files of various different flavors. And those two formats can be recorded at the same time so that you've always got the file that you need for whatever delivery mechanism you want, uploading the MP3 files to the internet whilst maintaining the high quality original WAV files on your system, for example. Finally, the X6 also maintains the wireless Bluetooth remote control capabilities from its larger brethren. This means if you buy the adapter separately, then you can plug it into the bottom of the unit here and you get full Bluetooth wireless remote control using the free app on both iOS and Android devices. And of course, this means that if your X6 is a long way from you, say mounted onto a camera at the other end of the room, then you still maintain the ability to control all of the functions of the device on your iOS or Android mobile. So with all of that said, a long list of very impressive features, let's check out the most important thing, which is how does the X6 sound? So first of all, I'm going to record my voice in XY configuration. Then we're going to listen to acoustic guitar, both in XY and AB mic configurations. So this is me recording my voice using the onboard condenser mics built into the Tascam Portacapture X6. In this case, I'm using the inbuilt voice recording app, and the gain is set appropriately. The mics are in XY configuration and there are no effects applied in post. And in this case, I'm recording using 48 kHz, 32-bit floating point, and it's internally recording to WAV files. So there we go, that is the Portacapture X6 from the guys at Tascam. I think it's a really nice addition to the range. You will have to decide whether the X6 or the X8 is more beneficial for your workflow. I think for the people who don't need as many inputs and are not worried about the combi jacks not being available on the X6, this is actually a really nice, more affordable alternative that maintains a lot of the power from the X8. Most people won't need that 192 kHz capability of the X8 either, and you maintain the 32-bit floating point operation within the X6 anyway, so you've got that extra benefit of the insane dynamic range that 32-bit floating point processing provides for you. You maintain most of the features, and of course, most importantly, it is more affordable as well. So, as usual, guys, you will find the link in the description below where you can go and check out the X6. That's not an affiliate link. I'm not making any money. If you click on that link, it's just for your benefit to be able to quickly find out the information that you want if you're interested in the X6. All right, guys, as usual, if you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons below. And if you do want to support me in my work, you can check out all of the lesson material for my guitar playing below as well. I've got lessons on technique, on improvisation, on harmony, on all sorts of things to do with being a better guitar player. So definitely check those out below as well. All right, guys, my name's Tom Quayle. Thank you so much for watching. Again, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I will see you very, very soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.